the Galaxy S23 Ultra will have the most powerful camera ever. Of course, the 200 megapixel camera is the punchline to every article about the upcoming S23 Ultra, but let's first go through all the basics we know.
I'm not sure I understand.
We are a couple of months away from the S23 announcement day. Maybe, supposedly, probably, but very, very likely. On the design front, we are expecting some exciting developments. You know how the S22 and the S22 Plus have this metal camera module which is kind of fused into the frame, while the S22 Ultra only has 3 metal rings around its lenses on the back, with the whole back being kind of flat. Yeah, I like this latter design, and it is said that the small S23 and the S23 Plus will have the same metal rings on the back and do away with the camera module. I don't know, it looks kinda cool, kinda minimalistic. Let's hope that it turns out like this. It will still be rocky when you place the phone on a table, but odds are much less so than the iPhone 14 series and their larger cameras. As for the S23 Ultra, it will supposedly have a very similar design to the S22 Ultra, but slightly flatter sides, which will make it easier to handle. Now, I do like the S22 Ultra, but when it comes to carrying this phone around with its curvy sides and its slippery back, it's scary. But yes, we will still have an S Pen with a silo in the bottom of the phone. The colors have also been leaked, at least some of them. Now, we know about black, green, light pink and beige. Exciting, I know. To be fair, it's very possible that there will be some vibrant exclusive colors on Samsung.com. This has been Samsung's strategy for the past couple of years. It gives the basic colors to all the retailers, and if you want to buy something more exciting like red, you have to go to a Samsung store and give your money directly to them. As for performance, it looks like we're about to get a huge jump. Now, of course, the new Galaxies will have a new processor, and reports say that would be the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. We suppose that's how it's gonna be called, it only makes sense. Now, it's hard to imagine that Qualcomm will make a huge leap or push the envelope too much, but an early leaked benchmark of the supposed Galaxy S23 series shows a 30% improvement in multi-core and single-core performance. If this is true, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, the Galaxy S22 series is no slouch, by no means, but a more powerful processor makes sure you have that extra headroom so the phone remains snappy, fast and responsive for years to come. And now that Samsung has pledged 4 years of Android updates for its flagship phones, this matters. What still worries us a bit is that the international models will get an Exynos processor, and we have no idea how that one would perform. It's worth noting that the leaks also said that the small S23 and the S23 Plus will get a tiny bump in battery, about 200 mAh. This is not big enough to make any huge battery life improvement, but we're glad that it's going up and not down. Now, let's talk about that camera. 200 megapixels sounds huge, but what does it mean? Okay, first of all, this will only be on the S23 Ultra, or so the leaks say. The S23 and 23 Plus will retain more or less the old camera module that we know and kinda like, love, maybe? Secondly, you won't be taking 200 megapixel photos by default, okay? The S22 has a 108 megapixel camera, but by default it takes 12 megapixel photos. It bins the pixels in clusters of 9 each. This helps the phone collect more light faster and get better details in action shots or nighttime photography. Now, if we assume that Samsung is doing the same thing with the S23 Ultra, that 200 megapixel camera will need to split its pixels in bins of 12 each to take 12 megapixel photos, and leaks say that each tiny pixel will be 0.6 microns large, meaning that 12 of those would result in 7.2 micron pixel bins, clusters. By smartphone camera standards, that's large. And yes, the rumor mill states that the S23 Ultra will have huge improvements in nighttime photography. Now, we've heard this before with Apple's latest iPhone 14s and Google's latest Pixel 7s. They said much better nighttime photography, but let's be honest, modern smartphones already do great in night modes, so we'll see what the S23 Ultra does. And yes, you will probably have access to the full 200 megapixel resolution if you manually select ultra high definition from the camera app, and pixel junkies will have a blast with that. Also, rumors say that there will be a new Ultra Stabilization mode, which is here to rival Apple's Action Camera and the Pixel 7's Action mode. Now, if you haven't heard, these two are amazing at taking smooth video while you're running with the camera or even skating. Presumably, the Galaxy S23 Ultra will do the same. Now, we don't know if this new feature will arrive to the 23 Plus or the S23, but one would hope so. It's hard to imagine that you're gonna take a huge, expensive S23 Ultra while skating. I kind of think it's gonna be much more probable that you're gonna buy the compact phone for that. Finally, I wish I could tell you something about the prices, but we've got nothing solid yet. Now, common sense dictates that Samsung's gonna stick to the same pricing scheme. That means $800 for the S23, $1,000 for the S23 Plus, and $1,200 for the S23 Ultra. And we do expect enhanced trade-in offers and discounts from launch. Let us know if you have any other secret tidbit about the S23 series. Like, subscribe. That's it for this video. See you next time. Bye!